Ryan, what's this huge package?
Oh, that's her luggage. It turned out to be more than I expected, and I was surprised too.
What?
What are you doing?
Well, I'm getting married to her, so I'll be divorcing Kyra.
You're unbelievable.
Say whatever you want.
Well, fine. Your behavior up until now has made my affection for you disappear. I'm divorcing you.
Your obedience is helpful. By the way, Dad, how about giving me this house as a gift while you're still alive?
Huh?
Regardless, this house will be mine once you're gone. I'll be living here with my affair partner. Kyra can take you and leave.
What are you saying? This is my house.
What?
My name is Kyra. We're in our 3rd year of marriage, and I'm currently 3 months pregnant. Ryan, my husband, and I started as co-workers, helping each other out at work, and our relationship blossomed into love. After 2 years of dating, we got married. Since then, I changed jobs to work at a different company, and we both contribute to our household income. Given that my husband is an only child, we decided to live with my in-laws after marriage. There's been no mistreatment or bullying from them. Both my father-in-law and mother-in-law have calm personalities, and I've never witnessed them getting angry or arguing. On weekends. Margaret, what would you like for lunch today?
It's hot, so how about a tuna salad sandwich?
That sounds good. I'll also prepare a simple side dish.
Kyra, you must be tired from work. It's your day off, after all.
Oh, don't worry about it. Her cooking is far better than mine.
Nonsense! Your cooking is delicious, Kyra. Right, Edward?
Absolutely.
Thank you. My in-laws treat me like their own daughter, and as someone who lost my biological parents early in life, I feel grateful for their love. Especially my mother-in-law, who often says, "I always wanted a daughter," to the point where Ryan gets jealous. He teases,
Mom, you're so focused on Kyra that you forget about me.
I believed these heartwarming moments would continue forever. However, when I was 6 months pregnant, I received a phone call at work. It was almost closing time at work.
Kyra, it's urgent! Margaret collapsed. She's currently in the intensive care unit at the hospital.
What? I'll go there right away. What about Ryan?
I can't reach Ryan. I tried calling his cell phone and leaving messages.
Understood. I'll try contacting him too. I explained the situation to my boss and headed to the hospital. On the way, I called Ryan.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Haven't you seen the message from your dad?
Oh, I haven't checked yet. What happened?
Your mom collapsed. She's in the ICU.
What?
I'll be at the hospital soon. You should come too.
Yeah.
His hesitant response puzzled me, but I hung up and rushed to the hospital. My mother-in-law had been moved to a regular ward, lying in bed. Beside her, my father-in-law looked distressed. Edward, how is she?
She seems stable now. It was a heart attack due to her pre-existing condition. She fell during the attack and injured her spine. She'll need a wheelchair and caregiving.
What? That's... At that moment, my phone rang. It was Ryan.
Hey, how's Mom doing?
She's resting in her room.
Is her life in danger?
Well, not immediately, but the fall during the attack injured her spine. She'll need a wheelchair.
I see. Well, caregiving is covered by you and Dad, right? I don't need to come.
What are you saying? Your mother collapsed. How can you prioritize anything over that?
I have other plans, so I can't make it. Take care.
What? Ryan! He abruptly hung up. Father-in-law asked.
Can't Ryan come?
I couldn't believe he'd prioritize something else over his own mother's health. I felt angry and couldn't help expressing my frustration to my father-in-law.
Was he always this heartless? Did something happen at work?
Seeing my father-in-law's calm response, I immediately regretted my irritation. Edward, I'll go back home for a moment to get some of Margaret's clothes. What about you?
I'll stay here with her.
That's a good idea. It'll be reassuring for her. All right, I'll be off.
I'm sorry, Kyra.
I gathered my mother-in-law's clothes and other necessary items at home and hurried back to the hospital. We arrived just in time for visiting hours. My mother-in-law was still unconscious. I left the belongings, entrusted my mother-in-law to the nurse, and returned home with my father-in-law. Even after arriving home, my husband hadn't returned yet. I decided to call him.
What?
Your mother has been hospitalized for a while.
Oh, I see. I'll visit her eventually.
It's your mother we're talking about. Why are you so indifferent?
Look, I'm busy right now. Can we talk about it when I get home?
Ryan! Once again, my husband unilaterally hung up the phone. He used to be different, more caring toward his parents. What happened? Around midnight, Ryan finally came home.
I'm exhausted.
What kept you out so late?
Important business dinner.
I see. And about your mother's caregiving?
You and Dad can handle it. I'm not participating.
What? What are you declaring?
I'm busy with work. I don't want to deal with caregiving even after coming home.
If you have work, I'm in the same boat.
You're about to start maternity leave, and it's perfect timing.
I don't mind taking care of her, but it bothers me that you, as her son, are opting out. It's disrespectful.
I'm busy. I won't do caregiving. I'm going to bed.
Lately, every conversation with my husband ends up in an argument. I couldn't fathom his mindset. The next morning, as Ryan prepared to leave for work as usual, my father-in-law confronted him.
Ryan, I understand work is busy, but she's your mother. Make time to visit her.
Yeah.
And off he went. Father-in-law muttered.
Was he always like this?
He, too, was puzzled by his son's change. That day, I took a day off and headed to the hospital with my father-in-law. In the hospital room, my mother-in-law's gentle smile welcomed us, providing some relief. She would remain hospitalized for a while to adjust to life in a wheelchair before returning home. We decided to partially renovate our house to make it more accessible. Ryan's late return home had become a pattern since my mother-in-law's hospitalization, often stretching into the early hours of the morning. Some days, he didn't come home at all. Ultimately, during her hospital stay, Ryan never visited her.
Ryan is so busy.
Her lonely expression tugged at my heart. I hadn't revealed the reality of Ryan's absence during her hospitalization. After her discharge, we began the routine of home caregiving. While I was at work, we hired a caregiver, and when I returned home, I juggled household chores and caregiving. It was challenging, but both my mother-in-law and father-in-law were cooperative. Plus, our renovated home was wheelchair-friendly, allowing my mother-in-law to gradually regain independence. Amidst all this, I reached my due date and safely gave birth to a healthy baby girl. My in-laws were overjoyed. When labor began, I tried to contact Ryan, but as expected, he was unreachable. Even the message about our child's birth went unread. And yet, I confronted Ryan once. His indifference to everything infuriated me. "Ryan, why don't you come home?"
What do you mean? I'm busy with work, so it can't be helped. You and Dad are there for Mom and the child. Everything will be fine.
Don't you worry about your mother or want to meet your child?
Work is unavoidable. Besides, I'll see them when I get home.
Talking to the wall, my words fell on deaf ears. I felt like a fool for asking. The daily routine of managing household chores, caregiving, and childcare keeps me busy. Fortunately, my mother-in-law actively assists with childcare. About a year into this new lifestyle, my mother-in-law's health deteriorated. Despite her unwavering concern for her son, my husband wasn't there during her final moments. For the past few days, I hadn't been able to reach my husband at all. It was only after my mother-in-law's passing that he finally responded. "Ryan, where have you been? I've been trying to contact you."
Oh, is Mom in critical condition?
"She's gone. Your mother has passed away."
What?
His surprise was evident, but his next words left me stunned.
It can't be helped. I'm busy with work.
How can you prioritize work over your dying mother? The company would surely understand if you explained the situation.
You're always nagging. I'm busy.
Is that so? Busy, huh? Fine, do as you please. But at least attend your mother's funeral properly. It's her final farewell.
I know.
His constant excuse was busy. I was losing patience with him. The word divorce kept echoing in my mind. But I didn't want to cause further pain to my father-in-law, who had just lost his wife. At the wake, my husband tearfully apologized to his mother. What kind of work could be more important than her final moments? As I observed him, I wondered. The funeral proceeded smoothly with my father-in-law as the chief mourner, and we all returned home.
Thank you for everything, Kyra.
Thank you. Let me make some tea.
No, I'm good. I have other commitments.
At a time like this? Can't you cancel?
What's it to you? Mind your own business.
Ryan, listen to Kyra. Your mother's funeral just ended. Can't you find another day for your commitments?
It's an important business deal.
At this hour? Besides, Kyra has been taking care of your mother all this time. You never lifted a finger. Don't you feel any gratitude toward her?
Yeah, thanks. Are you satisfied?
And with that, he stormed out of the house. I stood there, dumbfounded.
Kyra, I'm truly sorry. He wasn't always like this.
Please don't apologize, Edward. It's not your fault. I don't think he was always like this either. Has Ryan changed? I couldn't help but vent my frustration. Father-in-law nodded with a defeated expression. Since my mother-in-law's passing, Ryan's late nights away from home had become more frequent. His excuses, business trips, company outings, had disappeared. I had stopped asking where he was, leaving him unchecked. Life settled into a new normal for me, my father-in-law, and our daughter. The memorial service for my mother-in-law went smoothly. Although I had contacted Ryan, he never showed up. Then something unexpected arrived from him.
Kyra, come here!
His voice echoed from the front door.
Yes, I'm coming.
Do you know about this massive shipment?
Huh? I have no idea.
Understood.
Ryan had sent an enormous amount of belongings to our house. That night, Ryan returned unexpectedly, accompanied by a familiar woman holding a baby. Not Natalie? It's been a while. How have you been? The woman's name was Natalie, a former colleague from work. Ryan, Natalie, and I had started at the company together and often went out for drinks.
Long time no see. As you can see, I'm doing well.
We can't chat in the doorway. Come inside. I wondered why Ryan had brought Natalie, but I welcomed them into our home. You had a baby? I had no idea.
Yeah. I didn't mention it.
Her curt response left me uneasy.
By the way, Ryan, what's with this huge shipment? Oh, it's Natalie's stuff. There's more than I expected, and it surprised me.
Huh? Before I could ask, father-in-law erupted in anger.
What's going on, Ryan?
I'm marrying her, so I'm divorcing Kyra.
What? Does that mean the child Natalie is holding is yours?
Yeah,
You. When your own family was going through a tough time, you were out playing with other women, even had a child with one. You're despicable.
say whatever you want.
Well, fine. Your behavior has erased any affection I had for you. Creating a child with another woman, especially Natalie. It makes me sick. I'm divorcing you.
Your obedience is convenient.
As he said that, my husband placed the pre-filled divorce papers in front of me. Natalie, holding our child, sat next to him with a faint smile.
Could you sign it now? I want to marry Natalie soon. And Dad, I'd like this house to be gifted to me while you're still alive.
What?
Regardless, this house will be mine when Dad passes away. I plan to live here with my affair partner. Kyra, take Dad and leave. Eventually, Dad will need care, but Natalie doesn't want to be burdened with that. Dad would feel more secure with Kyra. I'm such a good son, right?
What are you saying?
Or, if Kyra is willing to take care of Dad and our child, we could continue living together, haha.
So, why have you been saying all this? This is my house.
Ha!
You're the one who needs to leave right now.
Exactly.
Not only was my husband surprised, but Natalie's face also contorted in shock. As my father-in-law nodded beside me, my husband's voice grew louder. Their plan had crumbled in an instant, leaving him visibly shaken.
Wait! Just because you're getting divorced doesn't mean you can say crazy things. Dad, you're not falling for Kyra's words, are you?
This property and house are in my name. I have no intention of transferring or selling them to you. If you insist on living here, you'll pay a reasonable monthly rent.
What?
Kyra is telling the truth. When Mom fell ill, the house needed repairs. You were unreachable. Kyra generously covered all the renovation costs. Instead of just taking money, we decided to sell this property and house to Kyra after discussing it with Mom.
What audacity!
You have no right to say that. Mom was always worried about you. Your actions show ingratitude. Leave immediately. You are never to darken my doorway again. You're disowned. Oh, don't worry. We rejected that massive shipment, so your belongings won't be here. Leave with peace of mind.
I witnessed my usually calm father-in-law's anger for the first time. My husband and Natalie were kicked out of the house, leaving dejectedly.
Kyra, sprinkle holy water at the entrance.
Yes. As I gazed at the divorce papers left on the table, I sighed deeply.
Kyra, after the divorce, I'll move to a nursing home. Don't worry about me.
Edward, please don't say that. As long as you're okay, continue living here with us as before. Sarah will be happy too.
Thank you, Kyra.
The next day, I went to the municipal office and submitted the divorce papers. The divorce was finalized. Later, the lawyer demanded alimony and child support from my ex-husband. We also sought compensation from Natalie, his affair partner.
How can I pay child support for Kyra's child when it's costing me for Natalie's child?
It's still your child. You must pay child support.
Kyra has money. She's just trying to squeeze more out of me.
Assets don't affect alimony or child support claims.
Despite my ex-husband's protests, he begrudgingly signed the lawyer's documents. As for Natalie, she turned out to be the worst.
I always disliked Kyra. Ryan was always dependent on her. I stole your precious person.
Ha! Is that all you have to say? My affection for Ryan, who doesn't care for his parents, has already vanished. Do as you please.
Stop being a sore loser. Ryan wanted a son. Well, our child is a boy.
With a triumphant attitude, she signed the compensation documents. Although her behavior infuriated me, I reminded myself that our ties would end here. With the paperwork completed, I left the office. Afterward, my ex-husband and Natalie got married, but Natalie's plan to take everything, the house and even my husband, from me didn't quite work out. They ended up living in a small apartment, constantly arguing. Suddenly, an unfamiliar man showed up at their door, insisting on meeting the child. He claimed to be the true father of Natalie's child. Despite Natalie's denial, my ex-husband began to question why the child bore no resemblance to him. A paternity test revealed a 0% chance of him being the biological father. The mysterious man turned out to be the real father. My ex-husband divorced Natalie on the spot, and she and the child were kicked out of the house, returning to the man. My ex-husband came to my father-in-law and me, kneeling in front of our doorstep.
I was a fool. Please forgive me. I was deceived by Natalie. She seduced me. Can I see our daughter?
You're just as guilty for falling for her trap. What face do you have to meet our daughter? I won't allow it.
But when Mom was ill, I had promised to meet Natalie. She threatened to expose everything to you if I didn't prioritize her. Then I was there for Natalie's childbirth and missed Mom's final moments. Damn it! To miss my parents' passing because of a stranger's child. I'm not at fault.
With that, my husband broke down in tears. Even witnessing my ex-husband's distress, I couldn't help but think he deserved it. My father-in-law said,
You'll regret this for the rest of your life. Live honestly from now on.
His words carried the kindness of a father. However, he never nodded in agreement with my ex-husband's return. My ex-husband left with slumped shoulders. But here's what I know. He's been struggling at work, facing gossip and feeling uncomfortable. A former colleague, upset about my divorce reason, inadvertently spread rumors. It's hard not to feel a sense of satisfaction. As for Natalie, the man who barged into their apartment turned out to be her fling. She successfully tempted my ex-husband, thinking she could take everything from me. But when she learned I was pregnant, she felt competitive and wanted to get pregnant too. After failing to conceive with my ex-husband, she seduced another friend, resulting in her own pregnancy. Whether the child belongs to my ex-husband or her fling, she pressured my ex-husband into marriage. A coworker revealed Natalie's true intentions by getting her to spill the beans. Natalie quit her job and moved into the fling's apartment. Unfortunately, he turned out to have a violent streak, and she now lives in fear. As for me, I lead a peaceful life with my father-in-law and my daughter. While I'm at work, my daughter stays at a daycare center, and on weekends, my father-in-law watches her while I finish household chores. This weekend, we'll visit my mother-in-law's grave on the anniversary of her passing.
How did you find this story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time in the next video.